But we go over to the In My Own Words hotline where we pick up the elite, the esteemed quarterback developer out of Seattle, Washington, Lavelle Durant, join us live here on the show. My man, how are you on this Friday?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Back in Seattle, so I'm a little cooler now.
Hey, that Tuscaloosa heat was something, wasn't it, man?
Man, it's not just the heat; it's the humidity. That's what got me. I took about 4 showers a day, man. I washed my skin off.
Tuscaloosa humidity is something else, but we got Lavelle Durant here on the show, the esteemed quarterback developer who was working with one Paul Tyson. He's been around Paul for a while now. He's been working with Tyson this entire offseason. Tyson, the 6'5", 240-pound redshirt freshman out of Hewitt-Trussville High School here in Alabama, and a guy that, yes, he's Paul Bear Bryant's great-grandson, but he's got a lot of talent on him as he looks to be the primary backup at that quarterback position for the upcoming season. And Lavelle, in just working with Paul mechanically, what are some of the things you've been going over with him in terms of his footwork, the ball placement, the accuracy, just having that timing on his throws? What sort of things mechanically you and Tyson have been over this far?
Well, Paul already possesses some great mechanics and great fundamentals. That's one thing that I've known about him since I have met him and started working with him. But what we've been going over is just mainly explosiveness, just helping him remain explosive. Paul's not going to be a 4-3 guy that's going to beat you down the sideline and kill your angle. So what we're trying to develop is him to being able to extend plays and get away from that initial pressure. So we've been working on just explosiveness and just continuing and tying our eyes to our feet and going through our progressions and being ready for whatever adversity we face on Saturdays.
Now, Jess, in terms of speaking to his competitive nature, I remember talking to you, earlier this week about, and you were saying he breathes football. He breathes football. He wants to be around the game. He loves being around the game. You say certain things to him. He really kind of gets himself going, does not like to be compared to one Bryce Young. So just talk about the competitive fire that you have noticed from Tyson from just being around him.
Yeah, Paul's just a guy that pretty much conducts himself around why not me. That's who Paul is. And he's a guy that he understands it. He stays in his books, and you could tell that he's just football all day, every day. He's pretty much just, you can tell, and it just falls off of him that he's ready for his number is called. When his number is called, he will be ready. He's a guy that when we're on the field and we're working, he's asking questions. He's not a guy that's just going to do what you ask him to do. He's gonna want the reasoning and the concept behind it. When it comes to his actual plays, he's going to tell you, okay, I'm going here with my eyes, but if this isn't here, then this is why I'm going to go here. And the reason why I'm going to go here is because this is what's going to happen. So you could tell that he just definitely prepped himself and he's preparing himself for that number being called.
And kind of just the last one, just on my end here, man, is you look at the mental aspect of the game of football. Coach Saban loves for his quarterbacks to be mentally strong, mentally prepared, mentally focused on, trying to get this team to, a national championship. So in terms of just you helping him, process a lot of this information and things that will be thrown at him by Saban, by Sarkisian, by, opposing defenses, how has he been able to process a lot of this stuff?
It's coming easy to him. It's coming easy to him. And again, that kind of goes hand in hand to our last question is, you can tell he just spent a lot of time sitting down, prepping himself, going over film, going over the opponent's film. He's ready for it. He's ready for it. He's definitely a cerebral guy. He's for sure a cerebral guy. He knows that, okay, I don't excel in this category, so I have to be great in this category. And in that category, as far as preparation and getting ready for what Sark and Saban's going to throw at him, he's ready for it. And if he's not 100% ready for it, he will be 100% ready for it.
We're looking forward to seeing – go ahead. Well, definitely looking forward to seeing what Tyson does here in this upcoming season here for the Crimson Tide, a guy that I've been high on since the day he not only came to Alabama, but even when he was in high school, I was very complimentary of one Paul Tyson. But joined here by Lavelle Durant, the esteemed elite quarterback developer out of Seattle, Washington, working with one Paul Tyson, helping us out here on this show. My man, appreciate you. You be safe out there. Be good. Happy you're back in Seattle. Looking forward to getting you back on soon.
Hey, thank you for having me, man. My pleasure, and hope I'll hear and talk to you guys soon.
Awesome getting a chance to talk to one Lavelle Durant and working with one Paul Tyson. But we continue on the phone lines because now we bring in the boots on the ground, the man, the myth, the legend, the guy in recruiting. It's none other than Justin Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Justin, Crimson Tide, doing it again on the recruiting trail. But first and foremost, how are you feeling?
I'm doing pretty good, Steve.
You're doing pretty good, man. I'm ecstatic. I'm pumped. The Tide bringing in the Brockermeyer boys. The Brockermeyer twins have given their yes to Coach Saban. Tommy Brockermeyer, the 5-star offensive tackle. James Brockermeyer, the 4-star offensive lineman, saying no to Texas, but coming to Alabama. This is what the Tide Nation has wanted to see. Justin, speak to it. Talk about it. The twins are in the books, man.
Yeah, these are two huge pickup for the Tide in the 2021 class here. I know a lot of Alabama fans have been really excited about possibly pulling in both of these guys this entire recruiting cycle. So I know that a lot of Tide fans are excited about bringing in these two, and there's good reasons to be excited. Looking at Tommy Brockermeyer, 6'6", 285-pound tackle, a very mobile kid who's really possibly going to thrive at that offensive tackle position. You bring in James Brockermeyer, although he's rated as a 4-star recruit, he's a pretty versatile offensive lineman. I'm a huge fan of his game personally just because of how versatile he is across the offensive line. You're looking at a guy who could play center at the next level, but he also has experience at playing tackle and guard as well. So you're getting a versatile offensive lineman in James Brockermeyer, and I think something that Tide fans should also really be excited about when it comes to the Brockermeyer twins is the fact that you know that they are getting trained the right way when it comes to the offensive line position because of their dad. Their dad being a former NFL offensive lineman, a former first-round draft pick, so you know that they are getting trained really well. So I think Tide fans should be really excited about the Brockermeyer twins, which I think they are.
Folks, if you're just tuning in to the network right now, we're on the phone with Justin Smith, the lead scouting and recruiting analyst for Touchdown Alabama Magazine, talking the latest news in Tide recruiting. So with the Brockermeyer twins in, Justin, what does this do for Terence Ferguson? Or what does this do for Armarius Mims? Where does the Tide go next when you look at this team, this program potentially trying to bring in the number one offensive line class in the country? Who's the next guy on that offensive line they could be looking at?
Of course, they're looking at Terence Ferguson and also Armarius Mims, who will announce his commitment on August 15th. Both Ferguson and Mims are Georgia products, and it looks like that is the battle that we are looking at with both guys, Georgia and Alabama, trying to battle it out for Mims and Ferguson. Now, I think the Tide is in a good position, to possibly land both guys, and I think looking at the Tide bringing in the Brockermeyer twins on today, also having a verbal commitment from J.C. Latham already, I think those guys see that Alabama may just bring in the best offensive line class that they ever had under Nick Saban when it comes to guys coming out of high school. So they see that being a possibility. So if I'm one of those guys, I know those guys want to be a part of that, possibly be in that conversation as well. So I think it does great things for the Tide when you're looking at Armarius Mims and also Terence Ferguson. I think that the commits that the Tide currently have in their recruiting class are really going to try to recruit more guys. You see A.J. Hall taking the full approach on that, but you also see guys, there are other guys in that 2021 recruiting class doing the same thing. I think the Brockermeyer twins will do that as well, showing that, we want to have the best offensive line class ever.
A.J. Hall has been doing a phenomenal job on the recruiting trail, as you mentioned there, Justin. Now, when you look at Christian Leary, I remember you and I both talked about him, and Leary has been working with Larry's been working with a team that has trained the likes of guys like Calvin Ridley, trained the likes of guys like Amari Cooper in terms of speed, in terms of playmaking ability. Kind of speak to the training, kind of speak to the people that I've been working with, Leary, to make sure that not only is he the fastest guy in this class, but he has the opportunity to maybe even be the fastest player at Alabama, once he takes the field and actually starts playing.
Yeah, T.J. Brown, he's a trainer at Top Shelf Training Wide Receiver Academy and School. He's training a lot of NFL wide receivers, guys who are currently in the NFL, looking at former Alabama wide receiver Calvin Ridley, Mecole Hardman, Stephon Diggs. So he has trained a lot of high-profile wide receivers. He has also trained current Alabama wide receiver and freshman wide receiver Javon Baker. He has a great relationship with Christian Leary. He told me that their relationship actually goes back to Leary's freshman season, and he got a chance to work out with Leary recently. You guys can check out the article that I will put out on touchdownalabama.com soon that will break down this in greater detail. But one of the biggest things that he's working on with Leary is control of his speed. We all know how explosive Leary is. We all know he's a fast wide receiver, but he wants him to be more controlled in his routes. This is a guy who doesn't have to go 100% in his routes because he is so fast. He wants him to have more control of his routes. So you see Leary, the Alabama commit, who looks 100% locked in with the Tide, training for a big season, training on the little things so he could possibly come in and make an immediate impact. Of course, this is a guy who plans to enroll early as well.
Now, I know you also put out an article, Justin, on the possibility of Alabama getting a tight end for this 2021 class, and that's something that fans have been wanting to see. Will the Tide get that pass-catching, that explosive tight end that Coach Saban has been asking about and wanting to get? So who would be the guy that Alabama is looking at 2021 at that tight end spot?
Well, I think in a perfect world, when you're looking at that receiving tight end, I think you have to look at Michael Trigg, the 4-star tight end out of Florida. Of course, the Tide has had a lot of great success inside the state of Florida, especially in this class. But if you're looking for a receiving athletic tight end, you want to get Michael Trigg. But Alabama is not a school that's currently in his top school list. They offered him in basketball recently. He does have the opportunity at the other schools that are listed in his top school list. I think if once and if he includes the Tide in an updated top school list, we will see what the Tide possibly is in his recruitment at that point. But they also are heavily involved with Robbie Outs, the 3-star tight end out of South Carolina, a really aggressive tight end, not the most athletic guy when it comes to his routes and the tightness of his route. He's not the best receiving tight end, but he definitely is a guy who's not afraid to block. So you're getting a traditional inline tight end. Alabama is in a great position with him. He does have a top 2 of the Tide in Virginia Tech. Also looking at Jalen Sheed, a 3-star tight end out of Mississippi. He's a guy also who's not afraid to line up as an inline tight end and block, but he's also is a guy who can run some nice routes as well. So those are 3 guys that I will look at. I think the Tide is in the best position right now with Outs, with them actually visiting Alabama recently, just going on campus and visiting, not getting a chance to talk with coaches, of course, but he actually took a trip to Tuscaloosa by himself. So there's just something to pay attention to.
He's Justin Smith, folks, the lead scouting and recruiting analyst for Touchdown Alabama Magazine, the man out there scouting, going around, filming, getting all the information on these elite, big-time high school athletes as they make their decisions on where they're going to commit to. So no one quite does it the way Justin does it. And, man, we appreciate you coming on the show, as always, giving your insight, your expertise on all things recruiting trail. Be safe, Justin. Be good out there, buddy.
You do the same, Stephen.
Always fun having Justin on, talking about 2021 recruiting class for the Tide, as this bunch is really taking a rocket ship forward. But we go to another break here on the show. Don't touch that dial. Also, still doing giveaways now. We got the trivia question for the TJ Yeldon print, that being named the 5 linebackers since starting with the 2010 NFL Draft that Nick Saban put in the first round. 5 Alabama linebackers that went in the first round under Nick Saban. And also call in, folks, to tell us your favorite flavor of Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes and why you love that flavor. The best call or the best, message in the chat line walks away with a free slice of Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes. But upon return, we entertain your thoughts, your questions, your tweets, your chats, your phone calls right after this.
T-Town Menswear in the University Mall in Tuscaloosa. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $5.95 per month or pay $49.95 for a full year subscription. That's a saving of almost $22. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
Thank you for watching Touchdown Alabama Magazine's YouTube channel. To continue to get the best in Alabama football content, subscribe here and turn on your notifications to stay connected with the hottest shows covering your Crimson Tide.